There is one big mistake I see a lot of people making when they buy real estate here in the Dominican Republic. And in today's video, I'm going to share what that mistake is, more importantly, how to avoid it, and I'll give you a step-by-step breakdown along the way. My name is Jamie Gruber. I've purchased land, a pre-construction project, and my own home here in the Dominican Republic as we've lived here since 2022. And on this channel, I like to share what I've learned personally, hopefully to help you, and I want to get really tactical so that my thought process and logic is very clear. Now, the number one question that I get from people is a direct assessment of a developer of a property. What do I think about this project? I invested here. Do you think it's a good investment? What's the best investment you can make in Punta Cana or the Dominican Republic right now? And the truth is, I can't answer that for you because inherent in that question is the mistake that I think people are making. And that is going direct to the developer. Now look, developers are great if you know them really well, if you're in this market and you're here and you're interacting and networking with them. The pre-construction project and the land I purchased from a developer that I've gotten to know directly. But most of you watching this are in the United States, you're in Europe, you're in Canada. And while you may have connections down here or know some folks down here, it can be scary to navigate what project is good or bad from afar. So my recommendation in most cases, don't go straight to the developer. Instead, what I would do is get a great realtor. And that's a really vague statement, so I'm gonna make that more specific for you with 5 different things that I think make a great realtor in this market. But let me first start with why a realtor. What I've learned in my time here is that the Dominican Republic market is not your Zillow, MLS, online-driven real estate market. There's no one site to go to despite so many different developers right now trying to create one. I get pitched on them once a month at least, and they're all great intentions, but the market's just not ready for that centralized database right now. At least not one that's reliable. Here's what I mean. You'll go to a website for a broker and you'll look at a property on that website and you'll love the price and you'll love the location. Then you call or message that broker and they tell you this: oh, that's not the right price, or maybe even worse, oh, that's sold some time ago. Many brokers leave those listings up there on purpose so that when you call, they can tell you it's not available and then switch you to something else. It just is. It's not judgment. I'm just explaining how many brokers in the market work. So when different companies try to scrape all listings with AI and even do human verification of current pricing and availability, they're only going to capture a portion of the market anyway. And even then, these things change month to month. Developers increase pricing, whatever. So I wouldn't rely on the online world for your DR real estate purchase. This market is still very much a real estate agent-driven market. But without licensing requirements, everybody's in real estate. So trying to pare down who's a great realtor versus a realtor can be difficult. But let me give you my 5 criteria. First and foremost, they have to be full time. Real estate needs to be their only thing. Too often down here, you'll go to an Instagram account for a realtor and you'll see all the other things that realtor's involved in. God bless them. Enjoy. Do what you got to do. Own the store, launch the modeling career, or have the tour company. But for me, personally, I highly prefer that the realtor is full-time. It's all they do. They're all in on this market. Look, there was a guy that I've talked to locally in the last couple of years that had a very big platform and great reputation as a realtor here. At the same time, he had a whole modeling career going on the side. And since then, everything I've seen is that the traction on the real estate side isn't there as he goes further toward another career path. Now again, it doesn't make him bad in any way. Might be a great realtor, but I much prefer that person be fully focused on this purchase I want to make than anything else. Just my take. The second thing that's important to me in a great realtor is that they are local. DR in every way is an in-person networking culture. And there are plenty of realtors abroad that are reputable, they're good, and they sell properties here while living in the United States or Canada or somewhere else. Maybe it's the fact that I'm local, I'm here, so I see day to day the gossip train, the little nuance about different developers, stuff that you don't hear through phone calls or email or social media content. To me, it's vitally important that the realtor that I'm dealing with understands the market and knows all the players that are on the ground in this market. So whether it's in Punta Cana, Santo Domingo, Santiago, I think it's super important that you have a local realtor who's full-time. Look, I could speak to this house that we purchased for ourselves to live. The realtor we used to buy this house, this is all she does. She's in real estate. And because she's local, not only did she know about this property, but when this property went under contract, she knew that it was going to come out of contract. So over the 2-year span that we were on this property trying to get it to be ours, as it went in and out of contract, was listed for rent and then the tenant left, she was on it every step of the way, physically here talking to the people that were engaged with this property. As a result, we were able to buy it, my wife's dream home, and we bought it for a couple $100,000 below likely the market rate for what a house like this goes for in our neighborhood. So full-time and local to me, number 1 and number 2, the most important. All right, third is that they are experienced. Now this could be time or transactions. You can have a realtor that's only been doing it a year or two, but if they're aggressive and they've got a great mentor and they're plugged into a great brokerage, they may sell a ton of property and do it really well. May even bring those experiences from the US or Canada, how to serve customers, how to stay with them throughout the whole process, all of that down here to the DR. But there are other realtors who rely upon other ways to establish credibility, be it the look, the feel of the content they put out, who they show that they're associated with, and so on. None of that is bad. They're marketing themselves. I can get down with that, but I want to know behind that, what's the experience? It's why I talk about for myself. Look, bought a pre-construction property, bought land, bought my own home here, even with a mortgage. So I've been able to do some of these things that I'm talking about. But even before that, I purchased 43 units of property in the United States with partners. I've raised money to buy syndicated property. I've sat on both the general partner and limited partner side of deals in the United States. Doesn't make me the expert or know-it-all, not at all, but I have these experiences that I can share my learnings from. I want my realtor to have that too. I want him to know what it looks like when a deal goes sour, because they've seen it happen before and they can see those elements lining up this time. I want them to know all of the permitting in and outs here because it's substantial. I want them to know the good developers from the bad. I want them to know the right price because it's not as if you have this comps like you do in the US to value property. It just doesn't work quite the same. I want them to know the areas that have the least downside risk and the most upside risk, etc., etc., etc. I would always ask a realtor to see what deals they've closed, what properties they're marketing, their standards for when they do market or don't market a property, and so on. Then with all of those three things in place, an experienced local full-time realtor, now you need to assess them for the fourth and fifth attributes I look for. Number 4 is kind of a weird one, but I'll say it this way. I want my realtor to be abundance-minded. There's two different ways to think about life. There's abundance and there's scarcity. Scarcity-minded people are looking for how they're going to get theirs because, it could run out. Somebody's going to take from them. Abundance-minded people see things as everything's a collaboration, everything is cooperation. There's enough for all of us. And I want that attitude in my realtor, and here's why. In the US and Canada, it's very common to have a seller's agent and a buyer's agent involved in any transaction. Usually about a 6% commission and you split it, 3% to one, 3% to the other. Happens every day. Here it's a little bit different depending on the project or the listing. If it's a pre-construction property, there's something called exclusivity, which is where a brokerage could become the exclusive broker for a specific project. So if ABC Brokerage does a deal with XYZ developer to say, hey, we're selling 150 units in this project, you're the exclusive rights broker, then 123 broker over here that you're using, if they're scarcity-minded, won't go to ABC Broker to show ABC Broker's exclusive listing because they're going to have to split the commission. But if 123 Broker is an abundance-minded broker, they will say, hey, what do you need as the buyer? Boy, the perfect project for you is this exclusive listing through ABC Broker. I'll work with them to bring that deal to you. Again, I'm not against a realtor getting their commission for a project that they want to promote as long as their buyer is all about it as well. But there are agents that will overdo the push toward a project that gives them the free car, the enhanced commission structure, or whatever other incentive the developer is giving that broker, that agent. You just need to be mindful of that. That to me is a scarcity-minded broker. I remember, in fact, a realtor that I refer in the very beginning sold a property to a buyer for $1 million. And if I remember right, that property was not the exclusive listing or even the listing of the agent that I referred. But he found it for this buyer and split the commission with whoever was selling it. Later on, that buyer went back to that agent and bought another $500,000 property within about a month or two. All of that is to say this agent understood the value of the relationship and the value of service as opposed to the one transaction trying to maximize the commission on that. Again, everyone and their mother is a realtor here. The great ones separate themselves by being all about you instead of being all about them. But it's the Dominican, man. Everybody's kind. So even those agents with a scarcity mindset, they may be showing you that this is best for you because of what you said. And you may not even be able to see that they're steering you toward an exclusive listing or an enhanced commission for them. But here's a way to determine the DNA of that agent if you follow my 5th criteria for a great agent. When an agent sells you a property, they need to stay with you on that property through delivery. In the Dominican Republic, once you put 20% down on a pre-construction property, that usually creates the commission for the agent, meaning they get paid at that point. Only 20% down for you. You're just starting and the agent is finishing. But great agents stay with you all the way through until you get your unit, whether it's in a year, 2, or 5. They're going to be there for construction updates, for delays, communications with the developers, any delivery issues, any issues whatsoever, they're going to be part of that with you. And on the day that you do get your keys, they're going to be there to walk through it with you as well to make sure the property is delivered the way it was supposed to be. Great realtors are there for all of it. Now, what you can do is get client testimonials from the realtor you're considering using and ask these questions. Did they push you toward a project you didn't want? Did they stick with you every step of the way through? And so on. Look, here's the gist. Even good developers have bad moments. I can speak to a few, but I won't here. We talk more about that in my inner circle, which we'll get to in a little bit. But an agent that's local, local, on the ground, experienced full-time, is in the rooms. They know what's going well, what's not. They know when to say, you know, we need to pump the brakes on this specific project right now. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. So when I get the question of like, what's a great investment, or is this one a great investment, or is it good or is it bad? Again, I say, I don't know. Talk to your realtor. I got an email the other day from a lady who's elderly and she's struggling with the project she invested in. She was asking about next steps and this, that, and the other. My question back to her was, hey, what does your realtor say? Are they still involved? If I read it right, it sounds like she got a realtor from within the project as opposed to somebody independent. Now, I could read that wrong, but the point is she has one, but I didn't get the sense that the realtor was truly helping her through that entire transaction, and great realtors absolutely will. I could speak to a project right now, a very reputable developer that went sideways because they got disorganized and they put the wrong guy in charge, and that development is still there, but declined dramatically. Now the talk is that the original owner of the development who used to run the whole thing is getting rid of the person he put in place, is taking a multi-million-dollar loss to correct and right-size everything for the clients, which is great news. Developers want to do a good job by and large here for people that are buying, but I would have known none of that without knowing great realtors. Now look, let me be clear. None of this makes me right. I don't know it all. I don't pretend to know it all. What I do tell you is my own experience, my own opinions that I hope help you. So with that in mind, here's one more thing that I've learned that I didn't believe before. You ready for it? You only need one great realtor. If you've got any experience in this market, the prevailing thought is that, hey, you know what? You might need 4, 5, 6 different realtors to find all the deals because, you know, some brokers list things that others don't and so on. And that can be true if your realtor is not full-time, local, experienced, abundance-minded, and networking around real estate in the area, whatever area it is you're buying in. But you don't need 5 realtors. You just need one great one. And I'm going to give you 2 ways you can get one right now. First is this. If you're a realtor, drop down below who you are. I want to make sure that if you're a great realtor, that you're getting business, regardless of whether or not there's anything there for me. So for those people watching looking for a great realtor, here's a place for you to sort of say who you are and why you think you're a great realtor. If you want somebody that I would recommend, you can simply go to jamiegruber.com/referrals. There's a link in the description below, and I'll gladly send you somebody that you can work with, that I've worked with and or trust. Now, these folks, if they do end up working with you and you close with them, they will likely pay me a referral fee. So just know that. I like to be transparent, but in the end, whoever does talk to you, whether it's somebody I refer or anyone else, if the hair on the back of your neck just stands up, don't use them. Just because they're good for me doesn't mean they're good for you. Now, to get even more in the weeds on this and to get multiple perspectives, I'd highly encourage you to check out the DR Inner Circle. This is a membership community that I host with people actively buying, investing, living, and moving here to the Dominican Republic. And you get not just my thoughts, but the opinions and experiences of all of these hundreds of people inside the Inner Circle. Simply go to jamiegruber.com. That link is down in the description. Check it out, and I would love to have you join us. Now, there are a couple other topics that I'm going to be doing videos on very soon, so come back and see more. For instance, one is going to be why you should never, ever use family in any transaction within real estate. There's a controversial one, huh? And number 2 is for those of you that are going to go to developers directly. Again, having some experience with that, I want to share some takeaways, thoughts, and ways of vetting these developers that I use that hopefully helps you. So if you want to see the project I invested in here in Punta Cana as a pre-construction property, I'll put that video right here for you over on my main channel. You click on that, go over there, take a look, and hopefully it helps you. Would love it if you subscribe, and thanks for watching today's video.